Hey there and welcome to BizDisc Gaming, video 2 of 2. Can't believe you've come back for a second helping. If you've not seen the first video, click just down here. Post a link to it, you can click over there. It gives you a bit more background of what the channel's all about. So we're hoping to be the one-stop shop for all of your sort of visual disability gaming and accessibility reviews, live game streaming, and I'm going to share a few sort of hints and tips along the way as well. Because today's video is going to be gaming setups and equipment, really. So if you're new to gaming, this might give you some sort of insight into what sort of equipment and how to set your equipment up. If you've got a current setup, why not drop me a comment, let me know what you're using, what works for you, see if we can exchange some ideas, make things a bit easier for ourselves. What I would say before we go any further on this video is this is just my own perspective of what I found over quite a number of years that just works for me. There's no guarantee it's going to work for you, and you'll find your own way, but hopefully you may find this information helpful. So let's move straight on then. So if I just open up a picture of my current gaming setup, so at the moment I've got a 43-inch television. It's an LG 4K TV. I know a lot of people use monitors as well. I just prefer a television. They tend to be a little bit cheaper, especially when you're looking at the sort of size that I require. I've put this on a swivel arm as well. With my sight condition, nystagmus, you don't tend to get a great deal of peripheral vision, so that can be left and right, but also up and down. By having this on the raised arm, it just puts the center of the screen exactly where I'm looking. A lot of people as well, let's just sort of look at the gaming environment. A lot of people tend to play from their couch. For me, that would never be possible. I find that having this on a desk and a chair in front of it meets all of my needs. I tend to have to sit around about sort of 30 centimeters or 12 inches away from the screen. That's my particular sweet spot. It's going to be different for everybody, but that's the sort of distance I have to be to sort of get any sort of clarity or a detailing to be able to get any scores on COD. As I say, this is going to be different for everybody, but you'll find your way. Over the years, I've spent quite a bit of money on various different size TVs, and bigger isn't always better. Which I always thought it was. You'd be looking at your screen and thinking, well, if I just make it a little bit bigger, it's going to be that much better. It's not the case. It may be for you, but certainly it's not the case for me, and it's not the case for many people I've spoken to about this subject. So what I'm going to do is just explain a little bit of the reasons why I think that going for the biggest screen possible isn't probably the best idea. Just switch to this screen. So you'll have to excuse my rudimentary graphics. So if you take it that this is the top down of your head, and you've got a small screen, given for me, it's about a 12-inch difference between my face and that screen. A small TV is absolutely great. With my field of view, I see the entire screen, anything coming from the left or the right, top or the bottom, absolutely perfect. The only problem for me is that because the screen's so small, smaller objects or smaller players where you're trying to take them out, it just doesn't happen. That they're the size of a pixel or something. It's not really going to work. So then I'd say that sort of 42, 43-inch TV is probably these days probably your mid-range medium TV. So if you look at the sort of visual acuity there, yeah, you've got the central range in the middle. The closer you get to the screen as well, the problem you're going to have is that you are going to lose the edges of the screen. And it's like playing tennis. You do have to kind of move your focus from left to right quite often to try and sort of encapsulate the whole field of what you're trying to see. Quite often, if I'm going to be took out by anybody, it's usually from the left or the right as opposed to right in front of me. If we just switch over to the bigger screen, you'll see why. If you go for a bigger screen, you've still got that sweet spot of about 30 centimeters, 12 inches off that screen. You're so close to then the central part of the screen that you're losing all of the sides, all of those red areas. You're going to end up with neck aches sort of trying to sort of cover all of that screen. So I've found that the best option for me is probably a 42-inch screen. People with better sight, you probably might even be better off going for a slightly smaller screen even, and moving further away, just so you've got more of that field of view in play. Another thing I'd probably touch on as well is headsets and sound, because sound's a very important aspect of the game for me, especially the new one, Cold War. It's so loud when it gives you footsteps of people. It makes it absolutely superb from a visual aspect. If you haven't got that sort of visual representation of somebody in front of you, you know where they're coming from. I currently sort of use Astro A40s. Let's see if I can bring those up. There we go. These are quite an old headset now. They've been around quite a while, and I've had to do a lot of messing around to kind of get them to work with the new PlayStation 5. I've ended up having to sort of plug them into the PlayStation 5 and take an audio feed out of the monitor just to get the chat to work. So these, by all means, probably aren't compatible with every console or computer. And there are far newer ones around now. I could have probably gone for something wireless. As I sit so close to the TV, it seems a bit pointless, if I'm honest, because I'm going to be constantly charging a headset for something that I'm going to be sitting cable distance away from. It just seems an unnecessary expense. You may find that's going to be quite useful for you. It wasn't high on my list of requirements, if I'm honest. Probably going to be looking at sort of updating to a new headset quite soon, so stay posted for some reviews of those. I tend to like to take my time and make the right decision, being as you're spending a couple £100 on headsets. You can get some decent ones, you know, from about sort of £50 up. Look at Turtle Beach, they do some budget ones, and you know, they're pretty good. It all depends on, I suppose, how long you play and what sort of quality you want and what budget you've got. If I just kill the background music here, I've got a little bit of gameplay, and it'll just sort of give you an idea with the headset. Make sure you get one if you can, with 3D audio, because it's going to give you an absolutely fantastic sense of where the sounds are coming from. If I just kill that, and then what we've got to do is just shoot over to a little bit of gameplay. There we go. So here's me being all stealthy, thinking I'm Rambo. Doesn't always work. One chap there, another chap there, and then if you listen, there we go. I heard him coming from the right, but then I can hear more. So if I just repeat that, just to go over it again, because you may not have heard it the first time round. So I'm coming into this room on the left here. I can hear footsteps from the right. Now I'm not sure if it's the left or the right, so I just move around a little bit in this room. Get a sense of if it's coming from the back or the front of me, and it's actually coming from the right hand side. So that's a kill he'd have probably took me out on, but then most importantly, that one there, I would never have known he was there had I not had a decent headset. So it just goes to show the sort of importance of you know, how headsets can affect your game. Anyway, it's been a great session with you. Catch me again, hoping to do a live stream next. Look after yourselves, be seeing you, or maybe not.